You light up my life. G'day plant lovers, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Kathy. For all my return visitors, thank you so much for coming back. I really do appreciate it. I also felt it was necessary to welcome all my new subscribers. I have to admit, I am a little overwhelmed. I wasn't expecting to receive so many subscribers in such a short period, so welcome. And for those of you who are actually watching my computer or geeky videos, I really do appreciate it, but you seriously don't need to. I know that they're really not everyone's cup of tea. I also thought I would just briefly tell you what to expect on my channel. Every Friday, I try to bring out a planty related video. And when I say plants, I'm not talking just about indoor plants. I also have a very small garden which I'm extremely attached to, and it is currently spring in Melbourne. Yay! So I think I'll be spending quite a bit of time out there, and I thought I would take you guys along on that journey. And I'm sure you all would have noticed that I'm wearing this fantastic hat from Adam, not Dude. I just received it this morning, and frankly I just don't want to take it off. I just love it that much, so you'll probably have to put up with the hat for the rest of this video. But yes, big shout out to Adam. I just love it, and thank you so much. And if you guys don't know Adam, you definitely need to go and follow Not Dude. He is wonderful. I will link his channel up here as well as in my description box below. Last thing I wanted to say is that Black Lives Still Matter. This t-shirt I bought from Mellow Monkey. It is a beautiful t-shirt, gorgeous cotton, very nice and soft, and I love that the proceeds actually went to worthy causes in relation to the Black Lives Matter movement. So if you're interested, I will link their IG account in my description box below, as well as I think they have a website, and I'll link that as well. Okay, alright, so today I wanted to talk about lighting. When I started looking after plants and doing research about them, I realized just what a steep learning curve it is, because there's just so many things that you don't know in relation to watering, fertilizing, lighting. Oh my God, so many things. So I've been doing a series of videos to help beginners, and this video I wanted to cover lighting. Now there are a lot of excellent videos on lighting out there, and I know another Australian YouTuber, I think it's Madeline from Ants in My Plants, covered this as well. But I wanted to do a video that dealt with the lighting in Australia, and specifically Melbourne. Even though a lot of what I have to say will apply generally anywhere that you live in the world. The main difference, I think, is that Australia is in the southern hemisphere. So the strongest light that we can give our plants is from north-facing windows, whereas in the northern hemisphere it is from south-facing windows. Other than that, I don't know how much real differences there are, other than your climate and the light intensity wherever you live. So let's start off with why light is so important to plants. There are three elements that plants require to create food, and that's minerals and water in the soil, which they draw up through their roots. There is carbon dioxide, which they, I believe, take in through their leaves, and there is also sunlight, which again they take through their leaves. And then there is the process called photosynthesis, where they convert all these elements into food. So as you can see, lighting is a critical element for our plants, that they cannot live without it. Now, it doesn't have to be natural sunlight. There is also the option of using artificial lighting, which is usually through grow lights. The light intensity outdoors, even in shade, is still going to be brighter than it is within our homes, because there is no barrier between the sun and, say, plants or ourselves. The next thing I wanted to discuss is that the light intensity, sunlight intensity, does change with the seasons, as well as the duration of light that we get in a particular day. For example, in winter, because we have such short days, there is only so many hours of sunlight that we will get, and the light is definitely not as intense as it is, say, in the height of summer. Plus, we have much longer days with much more sunlight, which is why our plants grow crazy, because they love it. They get as much light as they need. Depending upon which direction your windows face, whether it's north, east, south, west, will determine the intensity of light that your plants will get. For example, in Australia, north-facing windows is the best light that we can give our plants. Don't know if this is accurate or not, but I'm assuming that's because we get both the morning light, and then by the time the sun rotates around, we get light throughout the entire day. Whereas, for example, an east-facing window will get wonderful morning light, and then it is more ambient light. It is not direct from the sun itself because it will have passed over. The same with west-facing windows. They get more ambient light in the mornings, but in afternoons they get full sun. And with southern windows, I think it's mainly ambient light throughout the day, which is why, generally speaking, in Australia, south-facing windows are the lowest light levels that we can give our plants. Now, there is also variations on the themes. Not every window faces, say, true north or true south. They might be northeast or northwest or southeast or southwest, etc. So of course that will also change how much light that room gets. So these are all things that we need to keep in mind. I don't think it's important that we know every direction that our windows face. I think it's more important to walk around your home and have a look, because generally speaking, you will know which room is the brightest. I know, for example, my living room is full of light. I also know that my bedroom, which has a west-facing window, is not as brightly lit as my study, which has an east-facing window. That room is always bright, whereas my bedroom can get a little dark at times, especially if it's overcast during the day. Now, if you're new to plants, or even if you're not new actually, I'm sure some of us, well, maybe it's just me, but quite often when I read tags, they'll say things like bright, indirect, or filtered light, or low light, or whatever. How the hell do you know which is which? I did a lot of reading when I first started, and honestly, I still don't know what exactly is bright, what exactly is indirect or direct lighting. And I think some people use these terms interchangeably, which makes things even more confusing. So I thought I would go through each one. Okay, let's talk first about direct. Now, in my opinion, direct should mean that there is no barrier between, say, the sun and your plant, which is what most plants outdoors get. Those in shade, I would say, is indirect light, because there is something that is protecting them from the sun's rays directly. But I have also seen indirect use for indoor plants, which seems odd to me. I don't know how we can say that they get direct sunlight if there's, say, a pane of glass there or a curtain or whatever it is. I do think that what people may mean in relation to direct light for your plants indoors is that the sun's rays might go through, say, a piece of glass, but still land on the plant's leaves directly. Now, this is all just my interpretations of these terms. That's how I've come to assess what kind of lighting my plants need. When it says direct, as far as I'm concerned, that means my plant has to be as close as possible to a north-facing window. I could also put it up in an east-facing window, or it could even go, say, in a west-facing window, but it needs to be a plant that can tolerate really high levels of light, because our afternoon sun is really, really strong. In Australia, we have to be careful with what plants we put, say, on our windowsills, especially north-facing windowsills in summer. It can get so hot and the light can be so intense that it can crisp your plants very, very quickly. So I'm always wary of keeping things on windowsills unless they really can tolerate full sun. That's the other thing I wanted to mention. When plants are getting a lot of light, they generally dry out faster. And if your plant is on a north-facing, say, windowsill, and it's a hot day, it will dry out a lot faster than it would if it was, say, on an east-facing windowsill. Indirect, basically, the way I interpret it, is that there is a barrier between the sun and the plant, whether it's a pane of glass or curtains or blinds or other plants blocking it, whatever it is, but that's how I interpret indirect. Some people also use the term filtered, which I think is pretty much the same. So plants that are described as requiring indirect light, you cannot put up against a windowsill because they will burn, unless it is perhaps an east-facing window where the light is much softer in the mornings. You definitely cannot put it in a west-facing window because they will definitely crisp up, if not die entirely. Another term you have probably heard a lot of is bright light. How the hell do you judge what is bright light? Honestly, I really don't know. I think we would all interpret that differently. Now, there are light meters or light readers which will tell you how intense the light is in a particular room. That might suit some people. Frankly, for me, I didn't bother. I think in Melbourne, Australia, bright light would be the light in our north-facing rooms. After that, I'd say probably east-facing windows and then west-facing rooms. And it also depends where you place your plant. Take, for example, a room that is 4 meters wide, which is, I think, 12 feet. Now, if your plant is right up next to the window, that is the brightest light that plant will get in that particular room. If, however, you move your plant 4 meters back from the window, that is the lowest light levels that plant will get in that particular room. And of course, if you put your plant in the middle, say 2 meters or I think 6 feet, then that is what I would call medium level lights for that room. And it will again depend on which direction that room is facing. Now, I have an open plan living room, kitchen, etc. Now, because I have lots of windows here, this room gets a lot of light. And when I put my plants even 4 meters back from those windows, the light levels here are still brighter than they are, say, in my bedroom. So medium light, I would consider to be at least a couple of meters, which is what did I say, 6 feet, 6 or more feet back from a window. Low light is when you start getting into the dimmest corners of rooms. And let me stress this, low light does not mean no light. A plant cannot survive with no light whatsoever. Please don't do that. It will just kill it, and I think that is just tragic. If you are able to read, say, a magazine or a book or a newspaper in the spot where you want to put that plant, and you do not need to turn on the overhead lights or a lamp, then that is low light. If, however, you need to turn on your lights, then that is even less light than low light, and your plant will not do well. And whilst there are plants that will tolerate low light, it doesn't mean they'll like it. So they may not necessarily grow for you or grow well for you. My bedroom is west facing, and I have just one window. I consider 3 meters back from the window to be low light. In my study, for example, I have my snake plant, my Sansevieria, Dracaena, whatever you want to call it, trifasciata, which is I think around 4.5 meters to 5 meters back from the east-facing window. Surprisingly, my snake plant has put on quite a bit of growth this winter, which is really shocking, but regardless, I would have thought that that is lower light. But it is still a little bit brighter than it is in my bedroom. If your plants are not getting enough light, you will notice, for example with succulents, they become etiolated, which means that they're stretching, reaching for the sun. And if you ever observe your plants, if you see them leaning towards a window, that generally means that they are not getting enough light, that they're seeking more light. So plants do tell us if they're not happy or they want more light. And that's generally a sign for me that I need to move it and give it a bit more light if I can, or to supplement it, say, with a grow light. It is hard to know, well, you know, how far should I put it back? You know, or where should I put my plants in my home? I actually find that the best way is to try it out. Sometimes what I do as well is I rotate them. I might have, for example, a plant in a room that doesn't get a lot of light, and then I'll move it from there, give it more light, and I'll put something else that can tolerate lower light in its place. So you can always do that, and I actually do enjoy changing around where my plants are, because I never know what I'm going to see one day. Well, I do, but you know what I mean. You get to kind of get pleasantly surprised. Oh, I forgot I put that there. Oh, how beautiful it is. I don't know about you, but I'm always getting distracted with my plants. I actually had a very bad accident with my poor Zanzibar. I knocked it to the ground and broke quite a few stems. So I've actually now moved it into my living room to give it a bit more light, more ambient light, not direct light because it can't take direct light, as I'm hoping it will help it put on some more growth. I'm also considering putting some of my plants outside. I know my snake plant can take it because I did that last year and it just took off like crazy. And if you do intend to put any of your plants outside for spring, please do it slowly. They're going to be really shocked going from the more protected environment in our homes to outside, where the light intensity is so much higher, even in the shade. So if you can give your plants a holiday outside this spring or summer, then please do so, because I think your plants will love it and thank you for it, with wonderful growth. This is Editing Kathy. I forgot to mention that you should also rotate your plants, say a quarter turn or half a turn, at least once a week if you'd like them to grow more evenly. Well, I think that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys found it helpful. If I didn't explain something well or I got it wrong, please do correct me or let me know down in the comments, or you can contact me on Instagram. And of course, I wanted to thank all my new subscribers. For all my earlier subscribers, thank you guys. I love you guys to death. I thank you for your support throughout this journey of mine, and I thank all of you for supporting me and subscribing to my channel. I really appreciate it very much, and I'm very grateful that you do. And if you like this video, I hate saying this, but you know, it bothers me to actually say it, but I'm going to say it anyway. If you like this video, you can give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed, you can. And thank you very much to all of you for watching. I very much appreciate it. I hope you all have a wonderful day and a wonderful weekend. Until next time, take care, guys. Bye. If you're new here, my name is Kate. Playing some of the terms. Sorry. Have Sal. Can't talk to. I can't explain this. It's my auntie. I have to wait. She has to wait. And to my old subscribers, which doesn't sound so good, what I mean is by my older, oh God, I'm just going to get myself into a mess here.